Epic Gaming Night is made possible by the support of patrons like you. Welcome to the Epic Gaming Night podcast, a podcast about the stories and relationships board games create. I'm your host, Roy Canay, and with me as always is Matt.
Hello.
And Rob.
Hello.
The enthusiasm is real tonight. Matt's like, yep.
Yep.
Did you get your heat fixed?
No.
Was that no?
Yeah, he said it's been pretty, well, he said it was a little bit warmer today, so.
It's just cold in the morning.
Nice. Darth says Matt and Rob. Awesome, guys. Well, today I thought I'd talk about something interesting. I've been working on game design stuff a lot, so I figured we could talk about maybe a little bit of ideas about amateur game design, seeing that I don't know what I'm doing. So I thought it'd be fun to see what you guys thought and chat's ideas on designing their own games and such. Hype! But I want to talk a little bit about news things. One of the news things that I want to talk about is, Rob, did you see that there is a new Zombicide that got announced? The Night
Zombicide.
Yeah,
I saw
Zombicide Night of the
Project
Living Dead just got announced. I think it was today or yesterday or something like that.
What?
But yeah, it's supposed to be a new Zombicide, but based off of the actual like Night of the Living Dead IP.
Where's that at?
I figure I saw it on Board Game Geek and somebody posted it on Facebook. But I figure you could find it on CMON's website. Let me see if I can actually click on it. Oh no, that goes to the Board Game Geek link. But yeah, Zombicide Night of the Living Dead coming 2019. There's really not a whole lot of information out about it. Maybe Board Game Geek just announced it because, you know, they like to announce stuff as soon as they get an inkling that it exists.
Oh, it's Night of the Living Dead, the board game. Does it say Zombicide?
It says Night of the Living Dead, a Zombicide game. So I guess I don't know if it's compatible or if it just uses the same mechanics or what the deal is. I wonder if I could go to their website and find out more. But there's not a whole lot of information about it on Board Game Geek. But I figured
All right, I see the cover art.
I figured since you're a big fan of the Zombicide series and have pretty much everything that...
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Is it getting a bit much, long in the tooth at this point?
Well, I'm taking that hard look of, do I want to keep buying these games that I'm not gonna play?
Gotcha.
I mean, and I love it. If I had all the money in the world, I would buy them. But like, in 2 months, I
officially own a company.
I officially own a company, and so like the Kickstarter. Speaking of CMON, the Kickstarter today for Project Elite came on today and stuff like that, and it's like, okay, like probably not going to back it. Well, because I know Kent and maybe some other people will back it, but I have like big payments right after the holidays, which is always fun. That I have to start making January 1st. So
Gotcha.
Actually, January 2nd, because banks are closed January 1st.
Nice.
So it's just, I don't know. I was actually thinking about selling some of my other some of my original Zombicide stuff. I'll keep like the Black Plague, but we'll see.
Yeah,
we
I
will
like
see.
Black Plague better.
But that's cool though that they announced that. I mean, I'm happy for them, and hopefully some things in my life will turn, not necessarily like they're bad, but like being a business owner will be fantastic. In my first year, I'll make a huge profit because all business owners do that, right? And it's going to be great. And I will be able to go to Dice Tower Con, and yay.
Yay.
Have you guys got your tickets yet for Dice Tower Con?
Not yet.
Well, hold on. Matt, have you? Roy, you don't need to get a ticket.
No. I don't know. I'm dreading the tax season because I know that I'll probably owe a significant chunk. So I'm not sure how everything's going to shake out.
Dag.
You may not owe. I mean, because you just bought a house.
Yeah, but
You have a side business we don't know about.
no, I KO'd a mutual fund to buy the house. So
Okay.
I would owe capital gains on the earnings that the fund made, unless I can somehow say, "Oh, look, no, I reinvested it into the market immediately." So,
Nice.
How long did you have that fund open? Did you have it open for more than 2 years?
Nah, just like a year, I think.
Oh, okay, then yeah, you probably will have to pay.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, though, and talk to your accountant about this. You can use things to go against your fund. So you could possibly use the house to go against your fund. So you're not paying, like for real estate, you pay your capital gains on the profit, not on the amount that you spent, on the profit. So like when I bought my condo here, I didn't pay my capital gains on what I sold it for. I paid the capital gains on the profit between what I bought it for and what I sold it for. And then when I did all the work on the place, I was able to count that against that. So I was paying capital gains on like less than $10,000, even though I made more than that. But I had invested money, and so you might be okay.
This week on
Believe
the
me,
Epic
I know
Real
how you
Estate
feel
Podcast.
come April. I know. Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, man.
It's not fun. And so Jordan, if you're going down to Dice Tower Con, I may be staying with you at that one hotel if you got room. Me and
Oh,
Matt.
snap.
You'll automatically win that section of the I can't think today of the scavenger hunt.
Just throw
Have an EGN crew member stay with you. You get 10 points.
That's awesome.
You have to throw
I
that
was
in
just
there.
using the scavenger hunt to like get things.
Get 10 points per night that they stay in there with you. So in case like the only one is for a night, we can jump around to somebody else or something like that.
These minis for Project Elite look pretty ridiculous.
They look good, but I don't know.
Dude, man,
I'll let Ken get it.
Simon is just always crazy. How did you guys
but it's
feel
only
about
a
the
13
gameplay
day.
of the game?
It's only a 13-day Kickstarter.
Oh, dag. I saw the Dice Towers like live play of it. I like skimmed it a little bit, and it's really hard to tell what in the world's going on, seeing that's like real time sort of stuff. I just saw people rolling dice and moving stuff around. I'm just like, oh, okay.
I do like that aspect of the gameplay. I thought that was a lot of fun.
Gotcha.
There were some things about it that I thought were cool. I thought Kent did a stellar job on painting his minis. I'm being
since the
facetious.
sarcasm.
It was terrible.
Poor Kent.
But no, it was a fun game, and I mean, I liked how you were limited on some of the stuff you could carry and some of the stuff that you could do. It's it makes you work together as a team.
Nice.
So that was good. So we'll see what's going on with that. But yeah, I'm probably gonna pass on that because Kent, when we were playing Project Elite, he was like, I am backing like day one backer.
Nice. Yeah, the minis look great. I think that was one of the main. I mean, I think everybody said that the game was really good. It was just that the minis like needed to be better.
Yeah, they were pretty terrible.
And of course with Simon getting a hold of the game, there's not going to be any issues with the minis. The minis are going to be great, and they look awesome in the project. So if you hadn't checked that out, looks pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
What else was I going to talk about? Oh, another thing that was amazing is that Plaid Hat, I guess, and the owners of Mice and Mystics are in talks with DreamWorks about making a Mice and Mystics movie.
Bro, Jerry Bell, how awesome is that, man?
Jerry Hawthorne?
Jerry Hawthorne, sorry. I said Jerry Bell. I know a guy named Jerry Bell, and he does not deserve that movie, but Jerry Hawthorne does. That is so cool, man. Could you imagine that? Like, that next level step, like...
That's awesome.
Your board game possibly becoming a movie, like that's the dreams that I have.
I think it's crazy because like Mice and Mystics was a huge success, and it's like all about like the story and playing through the story with your kids and all that stuff, and it's a great like movie for that sort of animated thing. But it's just crazy to think like that. I mean, I know there's been there's been movies about mass market games and stuff like that, which are normally like super hokey. But like, I feel like might be the first time.
This could actually be a legit good movie.
Yeah.
Because it's not hokey.
Yeah, I feel like this is the first time there's been a movie made about like a hobby board game, you know, or something we would say was actually part of the like hobby sphere, which is crazy. And I wonder if it's part of the whole Asmodee Entertainment thing, or if it's like a different route. We should have Jerry come on and talk to us about just stuff. You know, he's got
Absolutely.
new games, he's got new things. I should hit him up.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jerry's awesome, and it's super excited to see. It'd be cool to see the Mice and Mystics story. I wonder if they're going to go with something different, or if it's going to be close to like what's in the storybooks, or if it's just going to be using the same characters, or it'd be interesting to see.
I don't know. I mean, I would be floating so high right now.
Oh, if somebody's like,
if I got that phone call
about
somebody saying, "Hey man, we want to turn your project into a movie," I'd be like, "Yes."
Where do I sign? Let's do it.
I'd be so pumped. I'm super happy for him, and the guy is so sweet.
Oh yeah,
so nice. Like it couldn't have happened to a better guy. Him and Emerson are up there as some of the nicest people you'll ever meet.
Yeah, I definitely think that Jerry's probably like on the top of the list for like the nicest people in.
Not like Darth.
Gaming.
Darth is a terribly rude, mean person.
Oh.
Terribly, super mean. Some of the suggestions he's having us do in D&D, terribly mean.
Nice
person. But Jerry, he deserves it.
Awesome. But yeah, I was trying to look up other Essen news. So if anybody in chat has any specific games that they're hyped about that was announced out of Essen, like hit us up in chat and we might look it up and talk about it. But like I was trying to find stuff that like looks super cool, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. I mean, I saw a few different things, but I just didn't know enough about it or see enough about it. I mean, there is like the stained glass Sagrada, or stained glass. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I said that. Stained glass Azul, basically Sagrada, that a lot of people were talking about and excited. I know Daryl.
What about the Between Two Castles? The Mad.
Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Have you played Between Two Cities?
I've not played Between Two Cities, and I've not played
Castles of Mad Queen Ludwig.
But I have seen a couple rounds get played, and I like that idea of like making your castle and branching out.
Oh yeah.
So
I actually own Castles of Mad King Ludwig.
Have you played it?
Nope.
It seems like a cool game. You're like building your castle and you're like bidding for the different pieces of the castle and stuff like that. It's one of those games where it's like, okay, you're trying to set the value, and if nobody else gets it, then you buy it, but you're trying to not. It's like one of those where you're trying to set the value at a certain point where other people will buy it and give you the money, and then you can use that money to buy from other people or buy when other people are doing the bid. But then you build a castle, and it's, I guess, sort of like Suburbia, which you might not have played either, but like the placement of the stuff, you get points off of like adjacency and like how things are shaped and stuff like that. So
yeah,
good times.
That might be one of those like Friday night cabin games where like when there's only like a handful of us, we knock out a bunch of those like 4 and 5 player games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like we are still in shrink. We just open them up
and learn the rules.
I'm getting more and more excited for Kevin. I hope you guys are excited, and I hope you're able to come and to hang out and stuff like that.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Whenever my HR comes back, because I asked off for like the full weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
But I did that at the beginning of October, and here it is the end of October, and they've still yet to be like yes or no. So I'm going to be like, hey, why don't you tell me what's happening?
You could say you have family coming in from out of town, because isn't Adam sort of like EGN family?
Yeah, but honestly, it's none of their business anyway. So if they're like, why?
That's right.
None of your damn business. Just yes or no. That's all I need to know.
Right?
Nice.
I like this.
Gotta make it happen, man. I probably won't be there Friday. Like, I'll probably come like super late Friday, and then do like Saturday.
We'll probably be there from like noon on, if not earlier, on Friday. So like, I know Dustin was talking about Saturday, but if he wanted to do the Kids on Bikes, he needs to come Friday night. And if he wanted to come like
you said, it's like
an
hour away from Winston.
It's on the Virginia border. I'm
dag.
probably close to Dustin
Gotcha.
because he's in Virginia, right?
Yeah, Martinsville's on the Virginia border.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
near Danbury.
West.
Danbury?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know where that is. I know where Danville is, but I don't know where Danbury is.
hold on.
Yeah,
Give me a second. I'll pull it up on my maps.
One
and
of
I'll be
these
able to-
days we'll get an address. Don't share it on stream. Everybody's gonna share
anyway,
it.
not gonna
it's
share it on-
3544 Cabbage Patch Road.
Somebody's gonna be like, "Welcome to the haunted cabin game nights."
Bro, what if they did come for real?
Well, that's why we on guns.
I do want to say that I have been watching The Haunting on Hill House or whatever. It's not
yeah.
that bad. Come on, Rob. Not that bad.
Bro, I don't handle that stuff very well. All right, it's in between Sandy Ridge and Danbury.
Gotcha.
And you said he's in Martinsville?
Yes. This shouldn't be far.
Oh, actually, according to this map, he may be closer. He's closer to this place than he is to my house.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, I mean,
Obviously.
not. Of course, he's closer to this place
he
than
might
my
be closer
house.
to that than you.
It's a shorter distance from Martinsville to the cabin than it is from my house to the cabin. So he's probably less than an hour away.
Nice.
Yeah. And anybody with the cabin stuff, I'm also bringing a firearm with me to the cabin. Just we can't shoot them off there,
Locked and
per se,
loaded.
unless we need to.
Rob's
Don't
like,
don't be
protection.
that reason.
What was I gonna say? Well, I guess we can head to what we've been playing. So
That's
yeah, have
neat.
you guys got a chance to play any games?
Yes.
Hype.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh yeah, I've heard a lot of people talking about that.
Bro. Like when I get off the show tonight, I have to do a little bit of work for a client, and then I will be miserable as I'm up all night, just wandering around, finding randomness. The game is
You mean
it's living up to the hype for me.
Western Legends, the video game? No, I'm just kidding.
Man, I want to play Western Legends. If Western Legends is half as good as this game, I'm going to be so excited because this game really has been like fantastic.
I've heard a lot of great things.
Yeah. But the Haunting on House Hill, it's actually I enjoyed the ending of it. I think you'll like the ending if you stick with it. But
Yeah, I haven't got all the way to the end. I think I'm like halfway through.
it's not that it freaks me out, right? But it's like that, like when the ghost pops out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, jump scares.
Yeah, it's like those, bro. It's like, bro, stop. Like, I am one heart attack away. I don't need that.
Yeah. I'm not super keen on jump scares. I'd rather watch a horror movie that like makes me just contemplate my existence for a long time.
Hey, Matt, this one though actually does at the ending. You have to get through it, but the ending is. I thought it was pretty deep. I thought it was pretty good.
I've seen a few things that are interesting so far, but
Do
Yeah.
you know who the broke neck or the bent neck lady is, Roy?
I finished that episode.
I thought that was really cool.
Gotcha.
I actually really enjoyed that
Yeah.
because I thought, what an awesome way to tie that in. And I'm not gonna like spoil anything, but I thought after I got done watching that episode in particular, it quit being scary for me, and I thought it was more super creative. I was like, okay, like I really like the way that they did that.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
What was
Moving
gonna
forward,
say?
I was more excited.
All
than
these
paranoid.
shows, like all these TV shows now, just have tons of characters that just don't like each other. And I'm just like, it just gives me anxiety. It's like, hey, come on, guys, just get together, like be friendly with each other. What's going on?
So Matt, you like those horror shows that like?
I mean, I say
Thriller.
love, but it's like they're easily more engaging for me. It's like because I watched like Darth even mentioned that I'm the guy who breaks the fourth wall because I know I'm in a horror movie and just point out all like the tropes and stuff. But it's like that's how I get through horror movies that are like jump scare heavy. I'm just like, oh, cool, yeah, this is really dumb.
It's not dumb.
Like other things that like require me to like, I don't know, think about the situation. Like, God, what was it? The Strangers with Liv Tyler and like the people wearing the burlap sack masks.
Wasn't that based on a true story?
Yeah.
I never
Like
saw that.
that was not scary, but it's like, it. I don't know. It gives you a lot of anxiety.
Well, that one is meant to give you anxiety. Aren't they like on their honeymoon or something? and then these people show up to kill him.
No, they're just at their house in like the woods, and some people just roll in, and they're like, "Yo, what's up? We're gonna play some games." And then they just sort of terrorize them all night.
Here's one thing that I will say I do appreciate about my obesity, and it's like one of the only things. I have come to a place. I am not running away. I know I'm one of the first ones to die because I bludgeon the bad guy. I may not kill him, but I give the team or the family a chance because I do damage.
So
right?
You find solace in that?
I do find solace in that. Like if we're in the woods and a bear comes, I'm not running. I'm not even going to try to run away. I'm turning and I'm charging because I'm like, I know either one, somebody's going to shoot me in the leg and make me the sacrifice. Two, I'm just going to get caught from behind and just feel terrible, dying as the fat guy out of breath. Or three, I could go out attempting to be a hero, even though I die in like one swipe of the paw. And so, like in my mind, when I think about stuff like that, like something that would affect me personally, right? I just think, all right, man, get hype. Like, don't get scared. Get hype. Like, fight back.
Hey, and you never know. Maybe it'll be enough
Thanks,
to scare it away.
tacos. Thank you. Thank you,
This
tacos
message
and
brought to you by
pasta.
tacos.
Bro, and some. Thank you, chicken carbonara and fettuccine alfredo and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Did you guys? Okay, a random aside back to Project Elite, since I missed part of the conversation. Did you guys talk about how Cool Mini or Not has started aggressively doing their campaigns?
Oh yeah. I mean, we haven't really
The
talked about it.
timetable is way shorter.
Yeah, this one's only 13 days.
Yeah, and it's just like
Not 2 weeks.
Whatever.
They did 13 days. Why an unlucky number?
I don't know. It's just a little odd to me. So I didn't know if you guys had.
But I also like how they're just doing the one tier where it's like, how other campaigns, you can pledge at this and get this. They're like, nope, $100 or not. Like, here you go. And you get all this for $100.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like they're like, oh, it's a game that's already out. We need to do a Kickstarter because it has a ton of minis. So we need the money up front. But, like, why drag it out?
I don't even think they need the money. I think they literally do the Kickstarter to see, all right, do we need to focus on second wave stuff? Because if this is just going to fund, right, we may not need to focus on second wave or expansions. But if this is going to blow up, then we need to start pumping stuff, like making those ideas a reality.
Yeah. I mean, they did the same thing with, what was it, one of the Arcadia Quest.
The one with the animals. The last one that they just did.
Yeah, they made it super short, but it wasn't like a core game or whatever. It was just an expansion, so they're just like super short Kickstarter.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry.
Yeah, because didn't it? Hold on, I was just reading something where I think they just opened up another office.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think they just opened up another. Simon also announced the opening of an office in LA.
Oh, crazy.
And it's going to be led by Jeff Skinner. And that's going to focus on relationships with television, film, and electronic game companies. So they may try to go like Plaid Hat and maybe make a movie or a game movie, or they may now try to
license
like
out
who's that one
games
company that always
for
gets
digital
the movie rights for games, but they always make terrible games? You know what I'm talking about. Is it Arcane Wonder? It's not Arcane Wonder.
No.
Who is it?
Oh,
They did like they done a bunch of TV shows. They also did the wrestling game, the WWE wrestling game. They did Homeland, the game.
Gale Force 9. You don't like their games? Gale Force 9 isn't that bad.
Okay, some of their games based off of creative content like that are not very good. Like they did Sons of Anarchy, was not that very good of a game.
I heard the game was actually okay.
It's okay when you buy it for $20. It was not okay when it first came out and you were paying $50 for it.
They
It was
did a
like
good job
it's like
with-
Last Friday. I'd play Last Friday if I paid $20 for it. That's like a $20 game for me.
They didn't make
but
Last Friday. That
with
was
the hype
that was
when it first came out, it was like 40 or 50.
That was Ares Games who made that.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like a crappy or an okay game is worth its price to me if it's priced lower. And
Right.
so Gale Force 9, when it made those types of games, they didn't score well. They didn't do very well. Um, and so maybe that's what CMON's trying to do is maybe they're trying to, instead of like making movies or whatever, or selling their movie game rights for movies, maybe they're now trying to position themselves to acquire. Man, what? Oh, man, what if CMON bought the rights for The Matrix? Right? Oh, even if I was broke, I'd still back that. I don't care. I'd like, I don't. You know what? I would sell Joan of Arc to get
That's
A
weird.
Matrix board game.
if it was a good one.
Nice.
I don't even have Joan of Arc in, and I'll be honest, I'm a little scared about it coming in because I don't think you guys are going to play with me.
I mean, I play it with you. It's just time, man.
I need you guys to play it with me, man. That's the one game that I'll probably play sooner than later, just because I spent so much money on that
I mean, it
Kickstarter.
looks good, and I actually heard it was good. I just don't know enough about how like it actually goes. You know.
I just need you to read the rules, tell me how to play my game.
Here we go.
I don't think it could be that bad, though, right?
If I'm just being honest, it's probably not bad at all. I know it comes with a bunch of different game modes. It actually has like a campaign. It has a skirmish mode. It's got a multiplayer
I'm just talking about like the
skirmish
core
mode.
mechanics. I don't think they're going to be that difficult. You know.
No, it's like Battle Lore. It comes with like those little squares that your players can move into.
Yeah, little hexes and stuff you move
Yeah.
around. Nice. Awesome. Well, hey Matt, did you get a chance to play anything?
Yeah, actually, I played what's it called? Oh, Century, the Gollum edition. I forgot.
Sweet.
Great
And then
game.
Played Junkard.
Such
Yeah.
a good.
It was good. I lost a lot, but you know,
But
yeah,
did you have fun?
yeah.
You gotta
'Cause that's
have
where
steady
you're the
hands,
winner.
Man.
We even tried to play the cooperative version that we hadn't done before,
Yeah.
where you put the 2 blocks out and then you're building based off of that. Pretty difficult. Especially when basically we had a bunch of the bases that had the circles in it, so we stacked those up, and then somebody had one of those really long, sort of skinny pylons, so they just put it through the middle of all the holes, and they're like, perfect, it will stand up. And then AJ got another long, skinny pylon, and he was like, what do I do with this? He's like, put it on top of the first pylon. So we we had to be very careful with everything after that. And then Ryan gets a third one, and then it's like, you know what? Let's try to put it on top again. And it only failed because I was messing around and trying to make him laugh.
Nice.
But good.
You're pulling a Rob. Don't mess it up. Don't mess it up,
It
Rob.
wasn't even that. There was a video that we had seen earlier that was just like had him in stitches. So he was like trying to place the thing, and I just threw it to my Chromecast to my TV, so my TV just turns on and then like plays
Yes.
the video, and he's just like just like losing his mind. I was like, yeah, here we go. That was good.
That is good. Those are fun.
Yeah.
I love making people laugh, man. Especially when it catches them off guard with like stuff like that. Like that's the best. Because then it's authentic. It's not like one of those like, oh, oh man, you're funny. It's like one of those like actually laugh out loud. Those are the best.
Nice.
Boom.
For me, all I played was we played D&D, which was great always. Go back and watch the video and stuff. It was fun. And then I played a little bit of the Pokemon card game with Scotty because he was begging to play it, and I'm like, okay, I can show you how to play this game. So we played. He's getting pretty good at like
Yep.
knowing like what to do and how to play the game, which is actually pretty cool. Not like super strategic or anything like that. I still have to be like, yo, that's not a good idea. Let's rethink this. Or like, hey, you gotta have something you can do. But it was fun. That's always cool to be able to play games with your kids. And he's really into like the idea of building decks and playing around with the cards, even though he has no clue how that works. But it's still a lot of fun. But yeah, and we just play like casually with like the starter decks, like nothing, like we don't buy and collect anything or get all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah, Pokemon CCG, taking it back to the 90s. pretty much.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Good times. But other than that, I just been doing working on prototype stuff. So lots of Photoshop.
Prototype stuff. What is that, Roy?
I don't know, man. I'm not going to talk about that game too much. I will talk about other stuff.
Why not?
Because I'm trying to get it put out with people, and I don't want there to be too many.
Well, isn't that a
NDA
great way of
issues.
getting it put out? Is by telling people about this game that could be.
Roy just writes down NDA on a piece of paper and just
The problem is the company that I'm going for is not as big a fan of it being out beforehand. So
Have they said don't talk about it?
no, but they haven't said do talk about it. So yeah.
Yeah, but they haven't even. But okay, all right. Let's just be honest. You haven't even officially really met with them yet.
I mean,
Right?
I met. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
I
have
haven't-
you?
Yeah.
Have you met with the head of the art director guy? You met with him?
I mean, he saw all the stuff.
But has he played it? Has he heard your pitch?
He hasn't played it.
Have you heard that saying, "Don't put all your eggs in one basket"?
Oh yeah, I'm not doing that either. So
All right, man. So you better start saying, "Hey, here's this game. Somebody else wants to buy it. $1 million. It's yours."
$1 million, it's yours. Good times.
Oh, are you not jumping on? I'd be like, yes, 1 million.
Oh yeah, I mean, I told Emerson that I really want to talk to him about how all that stuff works, as far as what it's actually like to be a designer, business wise, because I don't know when you actually get to that point. Hey, what should I expect? I was like, hey man, if anybody ever puts a contract in front of me, I'm gonna make sure you tell me if it's fair for the industry, because I mean they're probably gonna be giving you way more than they give me, but it'd be good to know what your opinions are on these sort of things. He's like, for sure. So
He would too. That's actually really smart to get somebody that you can trust who's been there before.
and they know kind of what
Yeah.
things the going rate is, so it'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, that's way too low, or oh, what, I want this contract, that's what I want to see. Someone would be like, can I have this one? I'm just kidding. But good times. But I did want to talk about I know you guys have piddled around with different designs and different ideas and stuff like that before. I want to talk about what you guys do as far as concepting your ideas and coming up with them and stuff like that. So when it comes to game design, what do you do with the ideas you come up with?
write them down on the Google Drive page and then leave them forever.
Just the idea itself, or
I don't know. Just it depends on how into it I get. So sometimes I might flesh out rules, or that one sumo wrestling game is basically done. I think it would just need to be play tested. I would need to tweak all the numbers because I have no idea,
yeah.
what it is. It was one of those things I wanted to again talk to Emerson about because he's very mathy. So I was like, he has to have some idea of what numbers he puts on cards to determine their value ahead of play testing it, so that you don't have one card that's oh, this is a +9, and everything else is a +3. So why is that a +9? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yep.
I do the same. If I get an idea, I'll write it down or something like that, and I'll try to remember it. Just a lot going on, so I don't always, I'm not always on point on remembering what I should remember. But yeah.
Do you guys normally start with theme, when you're thinking of a game, or do you start with the mechanics? Do you think of oh, this mechanic or this sort of twist would be good, or do you think this is the theme, how can I make this into a game?
I'll let Mac go first.
I mean, I start with the theme most of the time, just because that's more my wheelhouse. Because I haven't played as many games as you guys have, so it's hard for me to determine mechanics because I I have a very limited wheelhouse to pull from. So I don't know. Some people might say that's an advantage, I guess, because you're not limited by the traditional things. But I don't know. It's hard to make something that's fun that also functions from scratch.
Yeah. For me, I try to like, normally it's definitely always like, this is the theme I want. How do I make a game that has that feel, you know? I'm like, I know what I want the game to feel like, and I know what I want the game to do. And then at that point, it's like, okay, well, how can I craft mechanics around making that feeling happen? It's like, okay, well, this could go here, or that could go there. And I've played a ton of games, and I have a bunch of mechanic ideas. And sometimes if I'm doing something, I'd be like, okay, well, this is this kind of mechanic that came from this game, but I wouldn't do it the same way, you know? It's like, okay, well, this is similar to that, but not exactly, you know? So it's like, okay, there's these sort of things. Like, I made that post-apocalyptic game that I know Matt has played. It's like a... Literally, I put it down in front of Matt and several other people, and we played it, and Matt didn't realize it was a game that I designed.
I was just like, oh, man, it's a pretty fun game. It's a pretty fun game. Because you pulled it out, it had, like, an actual box and, like, card art and stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is neat. This is neat. I was happy I was playing some sort of big earthy gorilla dude, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like a card game. It was literally just a take that card game where you're simply just like beating the crap out of each other. And I made this game back when I first got into board gaming. Like I just came out of like D&D and Magic, and I had played a bunch of HeroClix and stuff like that. So like the combat mechanics were very like HeroClix-ish as far as like, oh, you roll 2d6 and you're trying to hit like a stat. But then there are just lots of cards that would adjust your stats and stuff like that. And there were more things to use those 2d6 and stats for. It's like you could like research technologies and get all sorts of crazy technologies, and then you could also use it to attack your opponents, and also like, I mean, that was mostly it. So you're just taking actions and beating the crap out of each other. But for me, it was just like, okay, well, how can I make these mutants do like the research thing, but then also like power themselves up and then beat up each other? It ended up being like, oh, yeah, player elimination is not really a thing that people go for in games. So I never really took it super far. But I mean, it was pretty quick playing, but it was just like, I mean, I came up with several other ideas to make it so that you're not eliminating each other and stuff like that. But it's just kind of like that game's sat around for so long, and I feel like it's kind of interesting because like once you have an idea for a game and you build a ton of mechanics into it, it's kind of like, well, this is kind of what this is. I feel like it's like it either works or it doesn't, but that's maybe just me, you know. I'm sure a lot of other people will like tool it around or like try to change things up and fix it. But yeah. What about you, Rob, as far as like the mechanics go? How do you come up with what you want to do?
Oh, I always do theme first. Because the theme for me will inspire me to, you know, make the mechanics I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that hidden movement game that I made for 5 minutes that we actually played at my first Dice Tower.
Yeah.
That all started because of the because of the theme. Like I wanted a scary stalker type of theme. You know, it ended up turning like to these monster stalker stuff. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the theme and getting that in there and getting excited behind that. Because if you're going to keep my interest, and if I'm going to keep wanting to play, I have to be excited about it. Mm-hmm. Like I've got to be passionate about it. Mechanics will only keep me excited for so long.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be something that like actually drives you to want to play it and continue to play it. Or, I mean, for me, it's mostly about like the feel, you know. I mean, I feel like that's the reason why I love these big thematic games, because they like feel like the game that you're playing, you know. I want it to feel like I'm doing the thing that you're doing in the game, which I mean, I know a lot of other people don't necessarily have that same issue. But for me, it's like if we're flying around in the starship, I want it to feel like we're Battlestar Galactica Cylons. Like, you can't trust anybody, and the ship's falling apart, and we're trying to just make it and get to the last jump. It's cool when the games like feel like you're doing the thing as opposed to just pushing stuff around. I feel like that's one of the main disconnects for me with Euro games, besides the fact that it just comes down to score, and it's not necessarily as much about the story, but a lot of it just feels like you're just pushing components around to try to min-max a score and be the best. Ooh, I'm the best. Look at me. I pushed the cubes the best. I'm like, oh, that's cool, but what were we actually doing? And I mean, I guess that's why a lot of them have like, this is a shipping game where you're shipping these commodities, because that's what it feels like. But yeah. What would you guys do for prototyping? Because I know, Rob, you prototyped out a game, and Matt, you were looking into it, but I don't know if you ever actually got all the way up to that phase.
I have no idea.
Gotcha.
What was the question?
Like, what would you do for prototyping? Like, how would you put together a prototype?
Oh, I mean, I would take away pieces from old games that I wasn't necessarily using, and then, print off some stuff, try to laminate some stuff if I know it's going to be used a lot. But before I spent any money, like on the early stages of the prototypes where I know the game is still broken and let's break it, I would just use what I already have. And then, when it came to the point where I was like in your position where I was getting ready to pitch it to a company, that's where I might start investing some money into making sure it's like clean. You don't want to spend too much on that because the company is still going to change it to however they want to change it. They're going to make it however they want to change it, and things like that. But I definitely would want a cleaner.
I would never buy illustrations for a prototype, especially if unless you're making it yourself and you feel like it's good enough to actually make. Like, it would never be like, oh man, we need like actual art for the game. Like, that would be crazy. But yeah, I mean, a lot of people do the whole like sleeves cards trick. I know it's like super simple and everybody probably knows how to do it, but like if you have a game with cards in it, then just get like pieces of paper and you can put them in a sleeve, and like with a magic card behind it or a Pokemon card or whatever kind of card, and you can just switch it out. Like, you just have your deck of cards and you have the card in the sleeve, and then it's like, oh cool, it feels like a real card, like you're playing with a sleeved card. And then it's like, oh, we don't like this, you can pull the piece of paper out, you can write on it and change it or throw it away, do whatever you want to do. My prototypes are kind of insane because I put way too much work into it, and I don't know why. I talked with Emerson about this a lot, and he's like, dude, why did you put so much work into this? He's like, you might have to throw it away, or this might not be right. And then everybody that's played it's been like, well, no, it's actually solid. But I mean, all of my prototypes, I've wanted to like have them feel like the way I want the game to be. And I mean, I know how to Photoshop up a little bit of stuff, and I know how to like grab. I mean, when I was listening to early Plaid Hat podcast, that's one of the things they said is like, it's just a prototype. If you want it to have like some art on there to give people like the feel of how you want the game to be, just like grab whatever art off the internet. Obviously you can't publish it. Obviously you probably shouldn't be going around like promoting the game with those images on the card, but just for like play testing and just for like pitching the game, you can put whatever art from the internet you want on there. Obviously you don't have the rights to it, but I mean, it's just a prototype. You're not selling it. You're not actually like selling copies of the game with that on there, but it could give you a feel of the theme of the game. So that's what I've done with mine a lot too. Just had a little bit of art on there to be like, oh, cool. When Matt's playing the mutated monkey guy, it feels more like he's actually playing a mutated monkey instead of just seeing a blank white square or a blank card. He actually gets to see this creepy looking monkey picture, and just helps you get into the theme of the game, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Boom.
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not building board games and stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not thinking about making a board game right now. I've got my book projects that are taking off and things are happening with them.
Yeah.
Now, it's not the book project that I talked about before on the show. It's other projects, but yeah, like I don't know. I haven't thought about creating a game since that game. Since that
Gotcha.
game,
Do you feel like
I've
it's one of
thought
those things
about
where it's like,
having
oh,
other
you got it,
companies.
and you got to a certain point, and then you're just like, oh, okay. That's how I felt a lot of times with games before.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I was excited, and I did get some good feedback from Josh and Emerson and some other people. But it's not that I made the game on a dare, but it was like an idea that was like, okay, this would be fun. Let's try it out. But it was never something like I've never been super passionate about being a board game designer.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
I'm passionate about creativity and creating worlds and things like that. But I like that for where I have more control, like in the book sense or in like video sense and things like that. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not like gun ho in charge. I'm more gun ho in playing the game than creating the game.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah.
How about you, Matt? Like, are you like, do you get all pumped and excited? Like, why did you put all that effort into the sumo game? Was that something that you really wanted to play, or is it just like you're a completionist and you started the idea so you wanted to finish it? Like what happened with you? Like, what took you on that journey?
I think for me, it's learning things. Like most everything I do is to learn something. So like with the sumo game, it was just like, yeah, let's make a game about match fixing, because that was sort of prevalent in sumo culture back in the it's been prevalent for a while, I guess. But I was like, I think it would be cool to do sort of like a Sheriff of Nottingham style game, and then it sort of turned into, well, maybe each player is like sort of the stable master and like controls a certain amount of sumo wrestlers, and then they're all trying to just accumulate the most money possible. And then I was like, okay, cool. So I'm like working on it and thinking about it. And then I'm like, well, let's go to the Wikipedia page for just sumo wrestling. And then I just read that whole thing. And then, you see a little blue word. And you're like, oh, what's this? And then you click on that. And then you're reading all that page. And then 30 or 40 pages later, you've written down all of the 72 kimerite, or the different moves that they use. And you're trying to figure out how best that they play together or against each other, or... So you end up with these, I don't know.
So you're in it for the theme, but then you wanted to learn up on that theme as well.
Yeah, because it's like that really sells it, right? So it's like if I just make a sumo game where I'm just like, hey, man, this is a fat dude slapping another fat dude, trying to get him out of a salt ring. Here we go. And it's just like, okay, cool. I guess that can be super fun, but at the same point, if you have something that's enriching, just sort of enriching or pays, I guess, homage to the culture that it came from, it can be something that not only is fun, but, informative, or something that might pique an interest in somebody who never previously had thought about that. I just like learning stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
You also have to make sure you don't take Wikipedia 100% of the time and make a monkey god in your game and name it after some guy from New Zealand, like they did in Rising Sun.
There you go.
Which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, that's
They really
awesome.
did that.
So what? Yeah, the little monkey guy with the, I think he has like, what is his action? Like he can help reap in areas or harvest in areas or something like that. I don't remember. But like,
He's named after a god in New Zealand.
it was a guy. His friends had made like a Wikipedia entry for him in this Japanese lore or something like that, and they had just used the name off the Wikipedia page. I forgot what the name was, but they just put it in the game. And a bunch of people, when they got the game, they're like, okay, there's this, but what does this even mean? And they look it up, and all they could find about it was this Wikipedia entry, which turns out to just be this guy's friends playing a joke on him, being like a demon monkey god or something like that. And he ended up in a board game. So they found out about it, and they ended up like or everybody was like raving about it and be like, oh man, they should have done better research. How could they let this happen? So then they found the guy and reached out to him and like made sure to give him a copy of the game, which I think is hilarious.
I think it's hilarious he only asked for a copy of the game. I would have been like, Well, I mean, I guess he doesn't have any rights to that.
No.
Wow, that is pretty cool.
It'd be funny if like you went to the Wikipedia page and it was just like, yeah, this is a spoof page. This guy's name's Paul. He's from just wherever.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was literally just a dude in New Zealand who his friends like put up the Wikipedia entry on him. So I thought it was hilarious. But they got a lot of flack for that, them being like, oh man, they should have researched better, you know. But
hey, that's one thing I've learned about creativity. If you're creating a game, if you're creating anything, if you're writing a book, if you're telling somebody an idea that you had, listen, not everyone's going to like it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Not everyone is going to think that what you did is the greatest thing ever. And there are going to be people that you love that hurt you really badly, right? And they're not trying to hurt you. They just don't like what you're doing. Don't take it personally.
Oh, yeah, for
right?
sure.
Don't take it as if they're attacking you. Take it with, take the silver lining out of it, and the parts that need to be worked on, great, work on them. And the parts that you know they're just being jerks on, just know that they're being jerks on. But that's one thing that I see, like in my, my writers' creative critique groups and stuff that I'm in. Like, man, we'll have some writers come in, and they'll just like be so defeated because family and loved ones and other stuff like that will like rip them a new one. But it's one of those things where like, is what they're saying wrong? Mm-hmm. Okay. And if what they're saying is not wrong, let's look past maybe the way that they presented it and let's look at what it really is. Nope, this is broken. You need to rewrite that. You know, but a lot of times, especially as creators, when you're making something and you present it to somebody, you are exposing yourself, right? Like that's a part of you, right? I don't know if you feel this way about like your game that you made, Roy, but like when I make something or when I, are creating something, like I've learned to have thicker skin because I had so much stuff happen, which I'm thankful for. But
yeah.
To me, I in a lack of a better term, I feel very naked because it's like, oh, this is me. This is part of my mind and my psyche and what I created. And here you go. And so like when somebody rips on that kind of hurts, but it also helped me in my creativity. It's helped me a lot actually, to get better because I was able to take that stuff and I was able to like, all right, what are they saying? Are they just being jerks? If they're just being jerks, just shove it away. But if they're not just being a jerk and what they're saying really is valid, let me work on that to become better.
Sure.
Right? And a lot of people take things very personally, and we have a very superficial world nowadays. It's very politically correct where if it's ugly, it's ugly. If it's dumb, it's dumb. So anyway, if you're creating something, game or whatever, just I'll tell you this, in my writing stuff, I want it to get beat up.
Yeah.
Because if it's perfect the first time, that scares me. It scares me for two reasons. One, everyone's lying to me.
I feel
There's
that.
no way. There's no way it's just this good. And two, I'll start to self-doubt even more, thinking, nope. Like, I'll start to ruin it myself because I won't believe what they're saying, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, Matt, did you experience anything when you created your games, or did you not care? You just wanted to go through like the learning process? How did it work for you guys on that end?
Did you ever feel like, oh man, I don't feel like this is good enough to actually like put the prototype out to like get to that point? Was there ever like a anxiety about that?
I mean, yeah, that was never why. That was sort of why I never brought the game around. Just because I was like, okay, the mechanics still aren't super solid. I was like, I've got 3 different versions of the game and how it plays. Like the overarching goal is still the same. And then I was just like, I'm just assigning arbitrary values to all of these combat cards. So I'm just like, okay, I don't know if this is good or bad or strong or weak or how it's going to play out. So it's like, that was that thing that I wanted to talk to Emerson about, was how you determine like a mathematical structure for something that you're doing like that, to give it, because I've heard him talk about, I can't remember if it was Century or if it was something else, but he was talking, he's like, so you have this card, and then this card, it might have been Century, where he's like, you trade 2 cubes for 5 cubes. So sure, you're trading down, so you end up with 3 of the lowest cube value, but you end up with 2 that are, of a different value, so that can then trade to something else. So he's like, so you have like a 38% chance, and he's literally has all of this stuff just like math to a precision level. I don't understand how he begins that process, because I feel like if I understood that, I could theoretically build everything that I would need to build and say, okay, I think this is good enough to start play testing, or just give to you guys to see if it's even worth play testing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I think sometimes you have to like do your best guess of what you think, because I mean, when you have all sorts of like abilities or different things like that, like try to like put the numbers in there the best you can, and then just play test it. And when things come up broken, it's like, okay, people keep either really winning with that, or everybody keeps losing with that. So it's like, well, maybe it needs to be boosted, maybe it needs to be taken down a peg. But there are like a lot of things where, like, I know in Magic they have like arbitrary like number values for like each thing, and they're just like, okay, well, if it's this and this, it should cost this. Well, with this special ability, how much do we think that special ability costs? How much should we add in because of that specific thing? But you can get it mathed out like that too. It just depends on the type of game that you have. But yeah, I'm doing that a lot right now too. I have a lot of cards with abilities in my game, and I'm doing playtesting, and I put a bunch of values on these cards. So I'm like, okay, there's a whole bunch of different values, and they're kind of like, they're a little bit all over the place. But it's like, I mean, when I'm first playing the game, I'm first getting the prototype ready, make the cards, just got the cards, and they have these values on them, just because what I just ballpark think they should cost. And then it's like, now I just have to pay attention. Are people always skipping over this card? Are people always buying this card? Are people getting this card and just never getting it to the table because it's too expensive? Or are they throwing it down as fast as they can and then just wrecking the table with it because it's not expensive enough, And it's just like adjusting those values. And that's been a lot of actually what I've been doing. Like through this last week, I redid a bunch of cards. I'm like, okay, well, make this a little bit cheaper so maybe people will get it. Make this a little bit more expensive because, it seems real good. Seems real good. So it's just one of those things where with that sort of thing where you're just tweaking it, you just have to play over and over and over to see how the cards work, And that's what every designer will tell you, just play the game over and over and over again and make adjustments where you can. And that's when you're trying to like fine tune these abilities and stuff like that. If your game's all numbers, it might be a little bit different where you could math it out,
Yeah. Well, I feel like even if I do the math and the numbers are still wrong, it gives me a solid foundation to start on. So it's I can, and then if it's like, okay, well, this is too strong or that's too weak, I can then start to tweak it or look at it. But then I feel like I get a better feel from like playtesting or just having people playing it, because I can look at it and go, well, is this tweaking the numbers isn't going to help if the game's just not fun. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's like, is it too dry? Is it just blah?
Well, see, that's where I feel the opposite. I'll feel if the theme is really fun, Zombicide. We were talking about Zombicide earlier. It's the simplest. It's pretty dumb game. Yeah. You got your character, you pick up your item, you go get the thing, and you get out, right? Yeah. But I'm willing to play it and purchase it because I love the theme. I love the simplicity of it. Like you can't try to overthink it. Because like there are some people that would love the idea of having 2 fat people walk around and smack each other. I mean, I freaking bought exploding kittens or whatever that. The unicorn
unstable unicorns.
Unstable unicorns. I bought that literally because the cards had unicorns fighting each other. Yeah. Now I should have paid attention to the other stuff on there, which I know your game doesn't have. But like,
I'm
I
pretty
bought
sure
it.
I said a little bit about that when it was coming out. I'm
didn't pay
like, wait,
attention.
what? You're backing that game? That's edgy, Rob.
And you know what? I can't sell it. I've been trying to sell that thing online. Cannot sell it.
Hey, man, I
But
know there's one guy that really wants that one pack.
Yeah. But you're if you try to create something to please everybody, Matt, it's not gonna happen.
Oh, yeah,
You
for
need
sure.
to have like that foundation of like,
Well,
what are you going for? Does it accomplish what you're going for? Great.
I feel like that's my issue. Is I don't necessarily make it for other people. I make things for me, and it's not even so much that it's because it's something I want to play. It's just something that's like in me that just needs to not be in me anymore. And I'm just like, cool.
No, that makes sense because I have that with book ideas in my head where I'm just like, I need to get this out of my brain. It is literally killing me because it's eating away inside of my head.
Normally for me, the reason that I've like worked on games before, it's like I really want to play this game. Like if there was a game that was this game or felt the exact same as this game, I would just play it instead. But like a lot of times it's like, I want this game. And it's like, people aren't making this game. Why aren't they making this game? And I like want it to be like and sometimes it might not even be that far off from other games, but it's just like, why aren't they doing it like this? Come on. And then I try to make my own game for myself and because I want to play it with my friends, you know?
Yeah.
And that's another reason that like I have made like my prototypes like look like they're actual games almost. Just because like I feel like for one it'd be easier to get people to play it with me, you know, if it looks good. If I'm like, hey guys, come play my I mean, this is what designers say you should do it all on just like white cards and cue cards and post-it notes and scrap paper clips, whatever.
I feel like that's the way to play it with other game designers who can see
Can see
the
past.
vision.
But
it's like
I want the game to be
terrain.
thematic, and I want to play the game with thematic players, you know.
Yeah.
So I want it to give off the vibe and the feel that I see in the game and that I want the game to be. Yeah, I was super anxious to ever show it to like I definitely feel like I don't want to show my games to people most of the time, especially for the first time. I like the game that I'm currently working on, like I like started working on it like back in April and like had it like done like back in April, and then I didn't even tell anybody about it or didn't even show it to anybody until like right close to Gen Con. Like when was that time you and Trevor were over here? Was like the first time I ever showed like Trevor the game. Rob. It was like that was the first time
It was after Dice Tower.
Yeah, it was like right after Dice Tower Con. I thought about bringing it to
before
Dice
Gen
Tower
Con,
Con. I'm
yeah.
like, I should bring this to Dice Tower Con. I was like, no, I don't want people to see that I have this game, because it's just this anxiety of it not being good enough, or people being disappointed and like, oh, you made that, and it's just like, even though I don't feel like it'd be bad.
It's not like
Either
it's
that
not
or
like,
just try. I don't want people to feel like they're pressured into playing my game. You know, I don't want to like force. I'm like, people probably want to be playing other things that are like real games. So there's a lot of anxiety that goes with it for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
I will tell you this: when my book comes out at the beginning
You're
of
gonna force
next
people to
year,
read it.
yes, I don't care if you read it. I just want you to buy it. You spend that $5, you spend that $10, whatever we decide to sell it for. But when it comes out at the beginning of the year, email me, text me, hate mail me on my stuff. That's fine, but just buy a copy and tell your friends to go buy a copy, and then tell your parents to go buy a copy.
Your draft of your book, though, would you be nervous to like show it to like your friends that are super into books, that like read lots of books, that you have a lot of respect for?
That's actually who I picked as my beta readers.
Yeah.
I picked it like I picked those people because they do read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sent it to them saying, okay, tell me what's wrong. I know you read a lot of amazing authors. I know I'm not on their level. Tell me why. Like, I literally told people, if you're going to send me back notes and it's 5 pages, I want 4 pages of what I did wrong and then 1 page of what I did right.
Yeah.
Just because, like, for me, I feel like I'll learn better. I get a really big head really easily. Like, if you tell me I look good all day, I'm going to be like, bro, I look so sexy. right? And so if you tell me my writing's good, I'm gonna be like, man, this is the best thing ever written, and it's not, and I know it's not. Like I don't have a background in writing. I didn't go to school or anything like that, so I don't. They're not mean about it, but they're like, hey, this story at this part, it kind of plateaus. You need to pick this up here. Hey, this character really has no relevance. You need to get rid of this. Hey, your story starts off good, but it's not great. You need to knock out the first couple chapters and start it off maybe here, because this is actually where if you got rid of these first two chapters, it doesn't make the story any less compelling. And so it's like stuff like that where it's like, okay, that's kind of hard to understand. But when you see it and you have multiple people say it, that's kind of good. For those people in chat, real quick, the book that I'm talking about that's coming out at the beginning of the year, one of the reasons why I'm not talking about a lot on the show, it's a faith-based book. If you have questions about it, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram or Facebook and stuff. But it's not like our show. We're trying to stay away from religion and politics, so I'm not getting into it. But this is not that sci-fi book that I wrote before. This is actually a book that I wrote, and I submitted to a publishing company, and they actually picked it up. And so I'm actually in the process of publishing this book, and so I'm excited about it. But again, that's all the details I'll go into about the book on the show. Unless you guys want to talk about it, but that's not what our show's about. And I know we try to stay away from religion and politics outside of I played board games with my, church people.
Hype.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what I was going to say. What do you think about, I know I've heard like a designer, but I know like Ignacy and some other designers have agreed with him or whatever that say like when people playtest your game, you shouldn't necessarily listen to what the playtesters say. You should just watch what they do and then edit your game based off of that. I don't know how I feel about that, because for me, all the playtests that I've had, I mean, when people suggest some stuff, I mean, people have suggested like some awesome, like they've said, okay, this is maybe a problem, maybe not, but what about this? And I feel like sometimes that stuff has like really helped me with like the way the game feels. And I feel like sometimes playtester feedback can be really important. And I mean, I know you shouldn't let a playtester design your game for you or let them change the core principles of your game. But I mean, there's been times when, I mean, even with my old game, when I was like trying to make powers and I was like, man, some of these powers, I don't want them to just go on forever. I think I want to like, I want them to like be expendable, like run out. And then our friend Ryan Ortiz was like, hey man, what if you just had like charges? Like they just had a certain number of uses and you could just have like a die on there to count it down. And I added that into the game and like it made it like awesome. I'm like, that was a great idea. And like it just helped tweak the game a little bit and make it a little bit better. What do you guys think about like ideas that other people come up with while playtesting your game?
Yes, I think, well, first of all, do what works for you.
Right.
Like if not seeing them, if that doesn't work for them and they just want to see it, great. That's what works for them. So do what works for you. But no, why are you then playtesting your game if you don't want their feedback?
Yeah. I mean, I think he wants their feedback on like, does this work? Does this not work? But like adding things or changing actual mechanics in the game, they're like, never do it. I'm just like, but.
Well, see, I could sort of see what they're saying, but at the same time, does that not also fit into the categories of does this work, does this not work type of a thing? And I think you as a designer, you shouldn't just do what everybody says, right? Like you shouldn't just jump on it because they said it, but think about it and hash it over. And if it works out, like what Ryan did with the power thing, try it. I mean, you're still in that beta playtesting mode. What do you have to lose? It's not a finished product.
That's one of the things that I've thought about too, is like, oh, I mean, that to me sounds great. We'll try it. And like, I'm not afraid of like trying things out. And I mean, I don't necessarily want like my game to be like, oh man, the community, I mean, I don't really care. The community designed this game. At least people help me design this game or help me come up with different things. That's super cool. But I mean, I don't think I don't know. I think it's good to like, if people come up with things, don't just immediately be like, no. But if somebody comes with something that's just like, yeah, that's not going to work. But I play games with a lot of people that have played a ton of games. So I don't know. I mean, I guess everybody does. But it seems kind of interesting that some people would say never take like their design advice. Seems just kind of strange to me.
I also think that's pretty cocky.
Yeah. Also makes me wonder about some of the games. I'm like, oh, okay, I see. I'm just kidding.
Well, like speaking of Ignacy, right? That's the guy who did First Martian.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. But yeah, I have no problems with like. I mean, someone suggested something in the last play test, and I'm like, we're gonna try that. That sounds great. And I'm like, just seems good. I mean, we were collaboratively talking through solutions to a problem, and I'm suggesting things, he's suggesting things. I'm like, well, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna change this up this way, like change this value on this card. But what else can we do? And they're like, oh, well, maybe this. And I'm like, well, maybe that. So I don't know. I don't know. Good stuff.
I am actually inclined to agree with Ignacy
that
I think he has a good point, and I feel like it's basically where you're at in the playtesting.
Oh yeah,
so,
yeah,
like,
for sure.
I feel like, Roy, where you are currently, you're still almost like alpha testing, like you're refining things and you're getting sort of the core focus in how you want it, and people can help and collaborate with that. But once you have it sort of set in stone, right, and then let's say you pitch it to somebody and they pick it up and then they go and they do big play tests with it, and so it's out in the world, I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of other changes in that regard that you would see coming from people.
For sure.
Because that's just a sort of a numbers and a balancing thing, which I think is more what he's talking about, where it's sure, they'll talk and they'll say things and that's fine. And I mean, I feel like he would be remiss not to write it down or just record the conversation just in case. But it's like definitely what he's saying is watching what they're doing and how they're playing.
Oh, yeah.
How they're using what you've given them to do things is really sort of where it's at.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you can see how the flow and the pace of the game dictates through different players. So you can then determine sort of play styles and then give them, again, numerical values and then be like, all right, if this guy plays at like a 5 pace, he'll need some cards that actually can help him and, sort of get up to where he would be in the late game if somebody's playing a much faster game.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. It makes sense. It's not, I don't know. It makes sense to me, but it's a little weird the way he phrased it.
I think based off of what you were saying, like maybe at that level, sure, at that point,
yeah,
don't take it. Like it depends on where you're at. But
yeah,
I mean,
like
if you're just going to say a generic, like across the board, don't do it. I don't know how much I agree with generic across the board, but I do agree with what you're saying on maybe on where you're at in the process.
I also feel like it's another one of those things that sometimes if somebody asks for help or like teaching advice, right, you oftentimes get these teacher-like answers where it's sort of this thing that tries to get you to think about whatever it is that you're approaching in a different way. So they're like, hey, think outside of the box. Use those critical thinking skills that you're doing. Like, yeah. And so it's like if you say something like that, you can pull something out of it that is maybe what he meant, but at the same point, still use it in your own way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Nice.
Okay. Boom.
Awesome. Well, I guess we'll start to wrap this up. I did want to ask one more thing: is do you guys think that you will work on like any games in the future, or do you think you'll like push to like make something happen, or like actually get something like?
I can't say no.
Yeah.
It was fun when I made that quick little hidden movement game. I may I may jump back to that, or I may get a whole brand new idea. I like creating stuff, so I can't say no. But I don't have anything on the horizon that I'm itching to do.
Yeah.
Matthew? I don't know.
Think you'd ever make a prototype?
I mean, Honestly, if I could just figure out how to do the numbers, I could probably prototype the sumo game.
Mm.
Although I'm less interested in it now that it just sort of it's on paper now, so what does it matter? But
You got it
Well, now you
out of your
own a
head,
house.
and now it can live there.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I still have that one game about how stories evolve through the ages that's like floating through my head.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Oh,
It's a bigger scope and scale, so I don't really know where to start with it.
Matt, did
Yeah.
you? Hold on. Sorry, I got too excited. Nick, one of our patrons, and the guy who yodeled EGN really loud,
Yeah,
tagged me in on a Facebook thing.
I saw that. I saw the thing with dinosaurs, but I didn't look
Yes,
super deep
it's
into it.
supposed to be like that genie. All right, he says, not sure if this is sent to you already, but it looks like it's there's this game. It's called Perseverance: Castaway Chronicles, and he says from what it looks to scratch a similar itch to that Origin Chronicle game. Remember that game that you and I saw at Gen Con?
yeah.
And so if you want to check it out, it's Perseverance Castaway Chronicles. And it's got it almost looks like Pilot Mountain with a jungle around it and dinosaurs.
Okay.
But yeah, you may want to check that out.
Nice. Yeah, I always have tons of ideas for games. It's just no time to actually do any of them. I'm trying to make time to do this one just because, people actually showed a lot of positive feedback. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you guys like it. I mean, I've had, some like you were saying, Rob, is like, no, for real. No, tell me what's wrong. Why are you guys being so nice? Stop. So, I'm pretty excited about seeing how things go, especially in the next coming month. It'll be awesome. But yeah. Well, thanks everybody for listening to people that have never actually designed and published game talk about game design, just because that's what I've been doing for this week, so I thought it would be fun to talk about. But yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. We stream these Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure to check us out at youtube.com/Epic Gaming Night. We definitely want to say thanks so much to all of our amazing patrons who help support the show and keep everything going.
Yes.
Thanks so much to everybody who checks out our D&D stream as well. Darth is always joining us in there, and Adam is DMing for us. And I don't know, last week was awesome, I thought, or this past episode, which I guess was a couple days ago. But definitely make sure to check that out.
It was pretty epic.
I felt like I got to, I don't know, my character's just turned into the I hide all the time character, the hide and seek character. But it's fun.
All I know is we need to take a long rest, not a short rest. We
just need to rest. Period.
we need a long rest.
Adam
bro.
said he's never gonna let us sleep in the game.
Well, that's not good because we've been fighting from day one, and Matt made a great point. Matt made a great point, post show credits. But we've been fighting since day one on his campaign, and we've not had a long rest. And half of my big spells that I use, my big fighting spells, I need a long rest to get them back.
That's awesome. I don't really have spells. I just stab things and try to do it from the shadows.
When I tell you to run away. Yep. So Adam, listen, bro, just let us get one rest, an interim rest or something. Just one, I don't know, something.
You're I would just throw the back of your character sheet away because you don't need
We fought
all your extra
electric
powers.
spiders. We fought goblins, booger cube, which we really didn't fight.
made a drow explode.
We fought drow. I fought a shark. I fought a sword. I don't know if I fought the vampire. So much happened that episode. And then this past episode, 100+ goblins chasing after us. I have to throw you on my back. And then Matt does the awesomest thing ever, and he just turns the ship into a blender, and in the air, and he just starts spinning.
It actually worked pretty well.
Yeah.
I was gonna cast Featherfall on Crystal, but then it was just like, and the boat spins, and Crystal falls immediately, and I was like, well, she's gone.
Yeah.
Out of range.
She was charmed by evil anyway. It's fine. Odo, guys. We'll see you all on the next one. Thanks so much for tuning in with us. It's been a blast.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.
We love you guys.